success. It's a word that ignites passion in our hearts and sets our minds ablaze with possibilities. But have you ever wondered why only a small fraction of people truly achieve extraordinary success, while the vast majority settle for mediocrity? Two individuals start their careers on the same day, with similar backgrounds and opportunities. Fast forward 20 years and one of them is living their dream life, while the other is still struggling to make ends meet. What made the difference? Was it luck, talent, or something else entirely? The truth is, success isn't about innate abilities or fortunate circumstances. It's about the choices we make every single day. It's about the habits we cultivate, the mindset we adopt, and the actions we take consistently. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. Let's start with a fundamental truth. Success leaves clues. The top 2% aren't operating on some secret knowledge that's hidden from the rest of us. They're simply applying principles and strategies that are available to everyone, but that most people either ignore or fail to implement consistently. One of the first and most crucial differences between the 2% and the 98% is their approach to goal setting. The successful minority don't just have vague wishes or dreams. They have clear, specific written goals with deadlines. They know exactly what they want to achieve and by when. This clarity of purpose acts like a powerful magnet, pulling them towards their objectives even when faced with obstacles. It's not enough to just set goals. You need to review them regularly, visualize them vividly, and most importantly, take consistent action towards them. The 2% understand this. They don't just write down their goals on New Year's Eve and forget about them. They live and breathe their goals every single day. A critical factor that often separates the successful from the unsuccessful. The willingness to delay gratification. In a world of instant everything, the ability to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term gain is a superpower. The 98% often choose immediate comfort over future success. They would rather watch TV than read a book, sleep in rather than wake up early to exercise, or spend money on luxuries rather than invest in their education or business. The top 2%, on the other hand, are masters of delayed gratification. They understand that success is the result of thousands of small sacrifices made consistently over time. They're willing to do what's hard now to reap the rewards later. They invest in themselves, their skills, and their future, even when it's not comfortable or convenient. Continuous learning and self-improvement. The world is changing at an unprecedented pace, and those who aren't constantly upgrading their knowledge and skills are being left behind. The successful 2% are voracious learners. They read books, attend seminars, seek out mentors, and constantly strive to become better versions of themselves. But here's something that might surprise you. It's not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about applying what you learn. The 98% often consume information passively, nodding along to motivational videos or self-help books, without ever putting the principles into practice. The 2%, however, are action takers. They don't just read about time management. They implement new systems in their lives. They don't just listen to podcasts about entrepreneurship. They start side hustles and experiment with business ideas. Let's dive deeper into the mindset of the top 2%. One of their defining characteristics is their approach to failure. While the 98% see failure as a reason to give up, the successful minority view it as a stepping stone to success. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, grow, and come back stronger. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Steve Jobs was ousted from the company he co-founded before returning to lead Apple to unprecedented success. What sets these individuals apart is not that they never failed, but they never gave up. The 2% have what psychologists call a growth mindset. They believe that their abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. This mindset allows them to embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, and see effort as the path to mastery. The 98%, on the other hand, often have a fixed mindset, believing that their abilities are set in stone. This leads them to avoid challenges, give up easily, and feel threatened by the success of others. Another crucial factor that separates the successful from the rest is their ability to manage time effectively. Time is the great equalizer. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but the top 2% squeeze more productivity out of those hours than most people can imagine. They understand that time is their most valuable asset, and they guard it fiercely. The successful minority are masters of prioritization. They focus on high-value activities that move them closer to their goals, while ruthlessly eliminating or delegating low-value tasks. They understand the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, which states that roughly 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. By identifying and focusing on that crucial 20%, they achieve exponentially more than those who spread themselves thin trying to do everything. But it's not just about working hard. It's about working smart. The 2% understand the importance of taking breaks, getting enough sleep, and maintaining their physical and mental health. They know that sustained peak performance requires balance and self-care. While the 98% often burn themselves out trying to hustle 24/7. The successful minority work in focused bursts, alternating between periods of intense concentration and rejuvenating rest. Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." The top 2% take this to heart. They consciously surround themselves with positive, ambitious, and successful individuals who inspire them to reach higher and do more. The 98%, often without realizing it, allow themselves to be held back by negative influences. They spend time with people who complain, make excuses, and discourage ambitious goals. The successful minority, on the other hand, seek out mentors, join mastermind groups, and cultivate relationships with those who are already where they want to be. This doesn't mean cutting off all relationships with people who aren't as ambitious as you, but it does mean being intentional about who you allow to influence your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. The 2% understand that success is contagious, and they position themselves to catch it. Another crucial factor that sets the successful apart is their ability to manage their emotions and maintain a positive attitude. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned. The 98% often allow negative emotions to derail their progress. They get angry, frustrated, or depressed when faced with obstacles, and these emotions cloud their judgment and sap their motivation. The top 2%, however, have developed emotional intelligence. They understand that while they can't always control what happens to them, they can control their response. They view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. They maintain an optimistic outlook, not because they're naive, but because they understand that a positive attitude is a powerful tool for overcoming adversity. This doesn't mean the successful never feel negative emotions. They do. But they've developed strategies to manage these emotions effectively. They might use meditation, exercise, journaling, or talking to a trusted friend to process their feelings in a healthy. They don't let temporary setbacks or negative experiences define their overall outlook on life. In today's world, we're bombarded with distractions. Social media, emails, notifications, there's always something vying for our attention. The 98% often fall victim to these distractions, allowing their time and energy to be fragmented across a multitude of low-value activities. The successful 2%, on the other hand, are masters of focus. They understand the importance of deep work, the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task. They create environments and routines that allow for long periods of uninterrupted concentration. They turn off notifications, set boundaries, and protect their mental space fiercely. This ability to focus doesn't just make them more productive. It also allows them to achieve levels of mastery that are simply not possible with a scattered approach. Whether it's in business, arts, sports, or any other field, true excellence requires deep, sustained focus over long periods. Many people in the 98% believe that to be successful, you need to find your passion first. They wait for that lightning bolt of inspiration to strike before taking action. The problem is passion often doesn't come first. It develops over time as you become good at something valuable. The top 2% understand this. They don't wait for passion. They cultivate it through deliberate practice and continuous improvement. They choose a direction that aligns with their values and has the potential for growth, and then they commit to becoming excellent at it. As they develop mastery and see the impact of their work, passion naturally follows. This approach also makes them more resilient. When you are driven solely by initial passion, it's easy to give up when the going gets tough or when the novelty wears off. But when your drive comes from a commitment to excellence and a clear understanding of your goals, you are much more likely to persist through challenges. Another crucial factor that separates the 2% from the 98% is their approach to personal responsibility. The successful minority have an internal locus of control. They believe that they are responsible for their lives and their outcomes. They don't blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck for their failures. Instead, they ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How can I do better next time? The 98%, on the other hand, often have an external locus of control. They see themselves as victims of circumstance, attributing their lack of success to factors outside their control. This mindset is incredibly limiting because it robs them of their power to change their situation. Taking full responsibility for your life isn't always comfortable. It means acknowledging your mistakes and shortcomings, but it's incredibly empowering because it puts you in the driver's seat of your life. The top 2% understand this, and they use this mindset to fuel continuous improvement and growth. Success isn't about making one big dramatic change. It's about making small positive choices consistently over time. The 2% understand this deeply. They know that extraordinary results come from consistently doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. The person who goes to the gym sporadically and tries extreme diets might see short-term results, but they rarely last. The person who exercises moderately but consistently and maintains a balanced diet year-round is the one who achieves lasting health and fitness. The same principle applies to every area of life. Consistent effort in your career, relationships, personal development, and finances will always outperform sporadic bursts of intense activity, followed by long periods of inaction. The 98% often fall into the trap of all or nothing thinking. They're either on a strict diet or binge eating, working overtime, or procrastinating, saving every penny or splurging recklessly. The successful 2% understand the power of balance and consistency. They make steady progress towards their goals every single day, even if it's just a small step. They know that these small steps compound over time, leading to massive results. Adaptability. The world is changing at an unprecedented pace. Industries are being disrupted, new technologies are emerging, and the skills required for success are constantly evolving. In this environment, the ability to adapt quickly is not just an advantage, it's a necessity. The top 2% are incredibly adaptable. They're not wedded to a single way of doing things. They're constantly scanning their environment, looking for new opportunities and potential threats. When circumstances change, they're quick to adjust their strategies and learn new skills. The 98%, on the other hand, often resist change. They cling to outdated methods and mindsets, even when it's clear that they're no longer effective. They complain about how things are different now instead of figuring out how to thrive in the new reality. This adaptability extends to their mindset as well. The successful minority are open to new ideas and perspectives. They seek out diverse viewpoints and are willing to change their minds when presented with compelling evidence. This intellectual flexibility allows them to see opportunities that others miss and to come up with innovative solutions to problems. The power of networking and relationships. Success is rarely, if ever, achieved in isolation. The top 2% understand that who you know can be just as important as what you know. They actively cultivate a strong network of colleagues, mentors, and collaborators. The successful minority approach networking with a giving mindset, not taking one. They look for ways to add value to others, to help solve problems, to make meaningful connections. They understand that the more value they provide to their network, the more opportunities will come their way. The 98%, on the other hand, often approach networking with a what's in it for me attitude. They reach out to others only when they need something, which limits their ability to build genuine, mutually beneficial relationships. The 2% also understand the importance of cultivating strong personal relationships. They invest time and energy in their families, friendships, and communities. They know that true success isn't just about professional achievements, it's about creating a rich, fulfilling life in all areas. The top 2% understand that their body is their primary asset. They know that to perform at their best, they need to take care of their physical and mental health. This means prioritizing sleep, even when there's pressure to work longer hours. It means making time for regular exercise, even when the schedule is packed. It means paying attention to nutrition, managing stress, and taking time for relaxation and recovery. The 98% often neglect their health in pursuit of success, not realizing that this approach is counterproductive. They burn the candle at both ends, sacrifice sleep, rely on junk food and caffeine to keep going, and then wonder why they're always tired and unproductive. The successful minority, on the other hand, view taking care of their health as a non-negotiable part of their success strategy. They know that when they're healthy and energized, they're more creative, more productive, and better able to handle the challenges that come their way. The top 2% understand that willpower alone is not enough to achieve long-term success. They know that relying on motivation is a recipe for inconsistency and eventual failure. Instead, they focus on creating systems and habits that make success almost inevitable. They design their environment to support their goals. They create routines of these that eliminate decision fatigue and ensure that high-priority tasks get done consistently. For example, instead of relying on willpower to exercise every day, they might lay out their workout clothes the night before and schedule their workout at the same time each day. Instead of trying to remember to save money, they set up automatic transfers to their savings account. The 98%, on the other hand, often rely on bursts of motivation to make progress. They make grand plans when they're feeling inspired, but struggle to follow through when that initial excitement fades. The successful minority understand that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Small, consistent actions, repeated day after day, lead to massive results over time. The top 2% have a relentless commitment to excellence in everything they do. They understand that in a world where good is no longer good enough, it's the small details that often make the big difference. This doesn't mean they're perfectionists who never finish anything. Rather, they have a keen eye for the elements that truly matter and ensure that these are executed flawlessly. They know that in business, it's often the little things. The follow-up email, the handwritten thank you note, the extra effort to understand a client's needs that set them apart from the competition. The 98%, on the other hand, often adopt a good enough mentality. They do the minimum required and wonder why they're not standing out or achieving exceptional results. The successful minority also apply this attention to detail to their personal development. They don't just read a book. They take notes, reflect on the content, and look for ways to apply what they've learned. They don't just set goals. They break them down into actionable steps and track their progress meticulously. The ability to manage and leverage fear. Fear is a natural human emotion and everyone experiences it. The difference is in how the 2% and the 98% respond to fear. The 98% often let fear paralyze them. They avoid taking risks, stay in their comfort zone, and miss out on opportunities for growth and success. They let the fear of failure, rejection, or the unknown hold them back from pursuing their dreams. The top 2%, on the other hand, have learned to harness fear as a powerful motivator. They understand that fear often indicates that they're pushing beyond their comfort zone, which is where growth happens. Instead of running from fear, they lean into it. They ask themselves, what's the worst that could happen? And then create plans to mitigate those risks. This doesn't mean the successful are fearless. They feel fear just like everyone else. The difference is that they don't let fear make their decisions for them. They acknowledge the fear, analyze it rationally, and then take action despite it. This ability to act in the face of fear is what allows them to seize opportunities that others miss and to achieve things that seem impossible to the 98%. Moreover, the top 2% understand that courage isn't the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. They have a clear vision of what they want to achieve, and this vision is powerful enough to pull them through their fears and doubts. The ability to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not, is a hallmark of the top 2%. They understand that motivation is fleeting, but discipline is reliable. Self-discipline manifests in various ways. It's waking up early to work on your goals before the rest of the world is awake. It's choosing to save or invest money instead of spending it on short-term pleasures. It's sticking to your exercise routine even when you are tired or busy. It's continuing to work on your project or business even when you are not seeing immediate results. The 98% often struggle with self-discipline. They allow their emotions and momentary desires to dictate their actions. They procrastinate, make excuses, and give in to temptations that derail their progress. They start strong but fizzle out when the initial excitement wears off. The successful minority, however, have trained themselves to do what's necessary, even when it's not easy or enjoyable in the moment. They understand that the pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret. They've internalized the truth that short-term discomfort leads to long-term satisfaction, while short-term comfort often leads to long-term dissatisfaction. This self-discipline extends to their thought patterns as well. The top 2% are vigilant about their inner dialogue. They consciously replace negative, self-defeating thoughts with positive, empowering ones. They understand that their thoughts shape their reality. So they discipline their minds to focus on solutions rather than problems, on opportunities rather than obstacles. The successful 2% are masters of prioritization. They understand that in a world of infinite options and distractions, the ability to discern what truly matters is priceless. This skill manifests in their decision-making process, while the 98% often get caught up in trivial details or try to do everything at once. The top 2% have a laser-like focus on what will move the needle most significantly towards their goals. They're not afraid to say no to good opportunities, so they can say yes to great ones. This principle of essentialism doesn't just apply to their professional lives. The successful minority apply it to all areas of their lives. They declutter their physical spaces, simplify their schedules, and streamline their commitments. They understand that by eliminating the non-essential, they create more space for what truly matters, whether that's deep work, quality time with loved ones, or personal growth. Moreover, the top 2% are skilled at breaking down complex goals into manageable, essential steps. They don't get overwhelmed by the magnitude of their ambitions. Instead, they focus on the next most important action they can take right now. This ability to concentrate on the essential allows them to make consistent progress even when faced with daunting challenges. Another crucial factor that separates the 2% from the 98%, their approach to failure and setbacks. The successful minority have a fundamentally different relationship with failure compared to the majority. The 98% often see failure as a reflection of their worth or abilities. They take it personally when things don't go as planned. This fear of failure often paralyzes them, preventing them from taking risks or pursuing ambitious goals. When they do encounter setbacks, they're quick to give up, seeing it as confirmation that they're not cut out for success. The top 2%, on the other hand, view failure as feedback. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but a crucial part of the journey towards it. When they fail, they don't wallow in self-pity or make excuses. Instead, they ask themselves, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to improve? This resilient mindset allows them to bounce back quickly from setbacks. They understand that every failure brings them one step closer to success, as long as they're willing to learn and adjust their approach. They see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as challenges to overcome, opportunities to grow stronger and smarter. Moreover, the successful 2% actively seek out challenges that push them to their limits. They understand that comfort is the enemy of growth. By consistently putting themselves in situations where failure is a real possibility, they accelerate their learning and development. They know that the lessons learned from failure are often more valuable than those learned from easy successes. This attitude towards failure also allows the top 2% to take calculated risks. While the 98% play it safe, sticking to what they know and what feels comfortable, the successful minority are willing to venture into uncharted territory. They understand that the biggest rewards often come from taking the biggest risks. In today's rapidly changing world, the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn is more important than ever. The top 2% understand this deeply and make lifelong learning a core part of their success strategy. While the 98% often stop learning after formal education, the successful minority are voracious learners throughout their lives. They read extensively, not just in their field of expertise, but across a wide range of subjects. They attend workshops and seminars, seek out mentors, and actively look for opportunities to expand their knowledge and skills. But it's not just about accumulating information. The top 2% are skilled at applying what they learn. They don't just read a book. They experiment with the ideas in their own lives. They don't just attend a seminar. They implement the strategies in their work. This ability to turn knowledge into action sets them apart from those who consume information passively. Moreover, the successful 2% understand the importance of developing a diverse skill set. They don't just focus on becoming experts in one narrow field. Instead, they cultivate a range of skills that complement each other. This interdisciplinary approach allows them to see connections and opportunities that others miss. The top 2% also recognize the importance of soft skills. While the 98% often focus solely on technical skills, the successful minority invest heavily in developing their emotional intelligence, communication skills, leadership abilities, and creativity. They understand that in today's world, these soft skills often make the difference between good and great. Another crucial aspect of the 2%'s approach to learning is their willingness to challenge their own assumptions and beliefs. They don't let their egos get in the way of growth. If new information contradicts what they thought they knew, they're willing to change their minds. This intellectual humility allows them to stay adaptable and avoid the trap of outdated thinking. The successful minority have a fundamentally different relationship with time compared to the majority. The 98% often view time as something to be filled. They bounce from task to task, reacting to whatever demands their immediate attention. They confuse being busy with being productive, and often end their days wondering where all the time went. The top 2%, on the other hand, view time as their most precious resource. They understand that time is the great equalizer. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. What sets them apart is how they choose to use those hours. The successful minority are masters of prioritization. They use tools like the Eisenhower matrix to distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. They focus their energy on high-impact activities that move them closer to their goals, while ruthlessly eliminating or delegating tasks that don't contribute significant value. Moreover, the top 2% understand the power of deep work. In a world of constant distractions, they create environments and routines that allow for long periods of uninterrupted focus. They know that the ability to concentrate deeply on cognitively demanding tasks is becoming increasingly rare and valuable. The successful 2% also practice effective scheduling. They don't just have to do lists. They block out time on their calendars for their most important tasks. They understand that what gets scheduled gets done. They also build in buffer time to handle unexpected issues and to allow for creative thinking and strategic planning. Another crucial aspect of the 2%'s time management is their ability to say no. While the 98% often overcommit themselves trying to please everyone, the successful minority are selective about what they take on. They understand that saying no to good opportunities allows them to say yes to great ones. The top 2% also recognize the importance of rest and recovery. They don't buy into the myth of constant hustle. Instead, they understand that peak performance requires periods of intense focus balanced with adequate rest. They prioritize sleep, make time for exercise and relaxation, and understand that sometimes the most productive thing you can do is to step away and recharge. Another crucial factor that separates the 2% from the 98%, their ability to build and leverage systems. The successful minority understand that relying on willpower and motivation alone is a recipe for inconsistency and eventual burnout. Instead, the top 2% focus on creating systems that make success almost inevitable. They design their environment, routines, and processes in a way that naturally leads to desired outcomes. They understand that you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. For example, instead of relying on willpower to eat healthily, they might prep meals for the week in advance and remove all junk food from their home. Instead of hoping to find time for important tasks, they schedule them at the same time each day, creating a routine that becomes second nature. The 98%, on the other hand, often rely on bursts of motivation to make progress. They make grand plans when they're feeling inspired, but struggle to follow through when that initial excitement fades. They try to force themselves to change through sheer willpower, not realizing that willpower is a finite resource that quickly depletes. The successful 2% also apply this systems thinking to their businesses and careers. They create standard operating procedures, automate repetitive tasks, and build scalable processes. This allows them to achieve more with less effort and to focus their energy on high-level strategy and creative problem solving. The top 2% understand the power of habits. They know that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Small actions repeated consistently over time lead to massive results. So they focus on building positive habits and eliminating negative ones, knowing that their habits will ultimately shape their destiny. Another crucial aspect of the 2% success is their ability to build and lead high-performing teams. While the 98% often try to do everything themselves, the successful minority understand the power of collaboration and delegation. The top 2% are skilled at identifying and nurturing talent. They surround themselves with people who complement their skills and share their vision. They're not threatened by those who are more skilled than them in certain areas. Instead, they see these individuals as valuable assets that can help them achieve their goals faster. The successful 2% are masters at creating a positive and productive team culture. They understand that culture eats strategy for breakfast. They lead by example, setting high standards for themselves and inspiring others to do the same. They create an environment where creativity is encouraged, failure is seen as a learning opportunity, and everyone is aligned towards a common purpose. The top 2% also excel at effective communication. They're able to articulate their vision clearly, provide constructive feedback, and resolve conflicts in a way that strengthens rather than weakens team bonds. They understand that great leadership is not about having all the answers, but about asking the right questions and empowering others to find solutions. The successful minority are skilled at managing and motivating diverse teams. They understand that diversity of thought and background leads to better decision-making and more innovative solutions. They create inclusive environments where everyone feels valued and heard. The successful minority have a fundamentally different mindset when it comes to money compared to the majority. The 98% often see money as something to be earned and spent. They work for a paycheck, and as their income increases, so does their spending. They fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation, always feeling like they need just a little bit more to be happy. The top 2%, on the other hand, see money as a tool for creating wealth and achieving their goals. They understand the power of investing and making their money work for them. Instead of working for money, they focus on having money work for them through smart investments and building assets. The successful minority are also masters of delayed gratification when it comes to finances. While the 98% often succumb to impulse purchases and keeping up with the Joneses, the top 2% are willing to live below their means in the short term to build long-term wealth. They understand that every dollar they spend today is actually worth much more in the future if invested wisely. The top 2% have a clear financial plan. They set specific financial goals, create budgets, and track their progress meticulously. They're not afraid to seek expert advice when needed, whether it's from financial advisors, accountants, or successful mentors. The successful 2% also understand the importance of multiple income streams. While the 98% rely solely on their job for income, the top 2% are always looking for ways to diversify their income sources. This might include starting side businesses, investing in real estate, creating passive income streams, or building a portfolio of investments. The top 2% have a different attitude towards debt. While they're not afraid to use leverage strategically for investments that appreciate in value, they avoid consumer debt that drags down their financial progress. They understand the difference between good debt that can help build wealth and bad debt that erodes it. The path to joining the top 2% is clear. It's about developing the right mindset, cultivating empowering habits, and taking consistent action towards your goals. It's about embracing challenges, learning from failures, and never stopping in your pursuit of growth and improvement. Remember, success is not a matter of luck or inborn talent. It's the result of specific behaviors and attitudes that anyone can develop. The question is, are you willing to do what it takes? Are you ready to step out of your comfort zone, to challenge your limiting beliefs, to put in the work day after day, even when you don't feel like it. The choice is yours. You can continue to do what the 98% do and get the results that the 98% get. Or you can decide right now to join the ranks of the top 2%. It won't be easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. So what's it going to be? Are you ready to commit to excellence? Are you ready to become the best version of yourself? Are you ready to achieve the kind of success that most people only dream about? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Take that step today. Decide right now that you're going to be part of the 2%. Your future self will thank you. Remember, success is not a destination, it's a journey. And that journey begins now. The only question is, are you ready to take the first step?